A Dagestani fighter of the Akhmat Kavkaz unit voluntarily surrendered to the Ukrainian military in Zaporizhzhia region. The 118th Separate Mechanized Brigade reported that he went to the positions of the Ukrainian armed forces on his own, accompanied by a Ukrainian drone. The prisoner's name is Artur. He served in the 271st Motorized Rifle Regiment Akhmat Kavkaz, formed in Chechnya. The unit is part of the 42nd Motorized Rifle Division of the 58th Combined Arms Army of the Southern Military District of the Russian Federation, involved in the fighting in Zaporizhzhia. In civilian life, Artur and his girlfriend used light drugs, which led to his arrest by law enforcement. Instead of punishment, they offered him to sign a contract and serve in the regiment. According to the prisoner, law enforcement officers receive 400,000 rubles for each suspect sold to fight for the unit. He sold me there. They arranged for me to serve there for a year under a contract, says Artur. He was promised a position as a driver, but instead was sent to a reconnaissance unit that was also involved in assault operations. Mostly Russians and Dagestanis were sent to the assault, but he did not see any Kadyrov's Chechens there, only in the rear. This attitude, he said, convinced him to throw away his weapon and surrender to the Ukrainian military. Arthur raised his hands and walked along the railroad tracks, accompanied by a Ukrainian drone. Recently, the 118th Separate Mechanized Brigade repelled a Russian mechanized assault in the direction of Mala Tokmachka in Zaporizhzhia, even before the enemy could reach Ukrainian positions. Also, operators from Ukraine's 8th Special Forces Regiment disrupted Russian plans on the Slobozhansky front. In the clash, 9 Russian soldiers were killed, 3 vehicles destroyed, and retreating troops were eliminated by FPV drones. The 8th Special Forces Regiment has once again demonstrated why it is considered one of Ukraine's most capable and adaptive units on the Slobozhansky front. Their operations in this sector have increasingly shaped the tempo of fighting, preventing Russian forces from consolidating gains and disrupting attempts to widen the active battle line. The regiment operates with a combination of precision tactics, deep reconnaissance, and rapid strike capability, making it one of the few units capable of simultaneously gathering intelligence, executing assaults, and coordinating follow-up drone strikes in a single operational cycle. Their teams rely heavily on mobility and surprise, maneuvering through forest belts, ruined villages, and riverbank positions where larger formations struggle to advance. This has allowed them to strike Russian assault groups at the moment of deployment, when enemy units are most vulnerable and least coordinated. Russian forces in this zone have repeatedly tried to probe Ukrainian defenses with small armored groups and short, sharp infantry pushes, hoping to exhaust defenders with constant pressure. Instead, they have encountered highly trained operators who are comfortable fighting in fragmented terrain and who can turn even short contacts into decisive outcomes. The regiment's FPV drone groups play a critical role in sustaining this control of the battlefield. They work in close coordination with assault teams, providing overwatch, disrupting enemy extraction attempts, and finishing off positions that cannot be safely approached on foot. This integration has forced Russian commanders to spread their forces thinly, constantly anticipating strikes from multiple directions, which undermines their ability to mount coherent offensives. In the Lyman direction, pilots of the Signum Battalion struck Russian occupiers' shelters, a Bukhanka vehicle, and a couple more on ATVs. The Signum Battalion continues to play a decisive role in stabilizing the Lyman axis, where Russian forces are attempting to push forward through forested terrain and scattered strongpoints. This unit has become known for its fast-reaction drone teams, capable of identifying enemy concentrations and striking them before they can regroup or launch coordinated assaults. Their operations are especially effective in this direction, where visibility is limited and traditional artillery support often struggles to respond quickly enough. By maintaining constant aerial surveillance, Signum pilots are able to track Russian movement patterns, locate concealed positions, and disrupt logistics routes that feed frontline assaults. Every successful strike forces Russian units to pull back, reposition, or abandon planned advances, slowing the tempo of their operations. Serhiy Tishchenko, a combat medic from Ukraine's 30th Mechanized Brigade, spent an unbelievable 471 days in the same trench near Vasyukivka, Donetsk region. Cut off from the outside world with 3 fellow soldiers, they were shielded only by bags of clay from Russian FPV drones. Food arrived by drone, but water was a constant struggle. Bottles often shattered on impact, leaving them without water for days. So they dug a well, by hand, 3 meters deep. Trump says, "I'm convinced we're very close to a peace deal between Ukraine and Russia, and we'll know soon."
We're going to get there. 25,000 soldiers, Ukraine, Russia. In the last month, 25,000 soldiers have died. So I think we're getting very close to a deal. We'll find out. I thought that one would have been gone quicker. We did.
In Warsaw, the tent of pro-Russian supporters was taken down, and the organizer of the demonstration was sent to a psychiatric clinic. A year ago, a tent of Putin admirers was set up opposite the U.S. Embassy, where anti-Ukrainian materials were distributed, portraying Russia as a victim of the war and Europe and the U.S. as aggressors. OSINT researcher Tom Bike has released satellite images of the port of Novorossiysk, capturing a damaged ship being towed by 2 tugboats. According to Bike, the vessel is a large Project 171 landing ship being sent for repairs following a Ukrainian attack on the port. He notes that the maneuvering and use of 2 tugboats indicates significant damage. Satellite monitoring data aligns with earlier reports from Ukrainian sources about the aftermath of the strike on Russian military infrastructure in the area. Earlier, the Babel media outlet, citing sources in the security service of Ukraine, reported that the ship was damaged during a Ukrainian UAV attack on Russian Novorossiysk. It is worth noting, however, that Russian forces frequently reposition ships within ports to reduce vulnerability. Project 1171 ships are designed for amphibious assaults on unprepared coasts and for transporting troops and cargo by sea. They can carry various types of armored vehicles, including tanks. In 2022, the armed forces of Ukraine destroyed the large Project 1171 landing ship, Saratov, in the port of occupied Berdyansk. According to Militarny's information, the remaining Project 1171 landing ships in the Black Sea were Orsk and Nikolai Filchenkov.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.